Yeah, hello guys. Sorry for the delay. GM Boris will be joining shortly. Yeah, hello guys. Sorry for the delay. GM Boris So I guess Boris is here with us right now.
Yes, I cannot use video for some reason. Oh, now yes.
Yeah, you can now.
Can I start sharing or not yet?
Yeah, just a second. And guys, sorry for the delay. We were having some internet trouble from our end, and I guess I have to wear sunglasses today because Boris is shining as bright as always. Yeah. So the topic is screen sacrifice, one of the topic which gives a lot of rejoice to Grandmaster as well as beginner players. So without further ado, um, I guess I will hand over the class to Grandmaster Boris now. So welcome back, Boris. Welcome back. Class is all yours.
Thank you, Pratik. Yes, guys, let me start first. Share my screen really quick. Okay, guys. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Mostly good evening, I guess, for you. Welcome to our fourth class, and the topic Queen Sacrifice. Guys, we don't have a moderator today, so maybe a few words just to introduce myself. Well, in general, I don't think it's necessary to say a lot, but not because I'm like super famous guy, but because already I was introduced 3 times, right? But I mean, like, some people know me, of course, from my books. So guys, I have been a Grandmaster since 1997. Was world champion under 12. The author of 10 very well accepted chess books, like pretty famous chess books, I have to admit. 10 opening books, as well as I have courses on Chessable, modern chess, and my own webpage, of course. Have been coaching for probably already about 15-20 years. Have coaching experience with very different levels, starting from the highest possible level, preparing guys for the world championships such as Kramnik, Boris Gelfand, also work Rajabov, Caruana, Wesley So, and some others. National team of England for a few years, by the way, and going all the way down to 1600, like especially recently in US, 1600 and all the way up. Nowadays it's probably, I would say it's like 1900 to 2300 range. Most of my students. Peak rating back in 2010, 2668, top 50 in the world. Not very active chess player in recent years. Still hope maybe to get one day to play off the board, but that's it more or less, right, guys? So glad to see you. Nice.
Something you forgot, Boris. So guys who do not know, Boris is considered as god of opening preparation. So if there is a god of opening preparation, it's Grandmaster Boris.
Yeah, well, I appreciate this pratik, but I cannot say about myself that I'm a god of opening preparation, right? So, but guys, what is interesting, like we're talking about books, so it's all came from the books, right? And my work with top guys, but mostly books. And at some point, they called my first D4 Grandmaster repertoire the Bible of chess. The Bible of chess. Why? Because it's like almost everyone got this. It was translated to 5-6 languages and stuff like that. The Bible of chess. And even it was something funny. Some people all started to implement verb to avruk. What does it mean to avruk? It's like get advantage over like your opponent, like by using my books, you know. Or maybe like, well, it depends what kind of advantage, right? Maybe winning position. Yes, and here already I have in comments one Shanho Deep saying that he won against international master just by playing something from my book, and he's 1650. Impressive. Like after all, my books are like I would say advanced because everyone have been using this, but it's impressive if like at this level, like 1600 like plus, you can already understand the book. Yeah, so look, if there are such a strong players with 1600 in India, what can I say? Thank you, appreciate this, guys. What I wanted to talk about, the topic is queen sacrifice. The idea basically to give you like a few examples, like we'll see how much we can get this right, and like kind of like to open your mind to this possibility, right, guys? I cannot tell you about the rules, like there are like no specific rules that, oh well, you see this position, you go for queen sacrifice, right? It's all depends on the position, right? It's all depends on the position, and in many cases, like, you know, there are positions that like seemingly you're down material, like if you count like pawn value, but there are some extra factors that you should take into consideration, and it's actually working, right? Or like queen is limited or some, we'll see, right? And guys, as always, we will do this kind of like interactive stuff, so that I'll ask you what's the move, and we'll try to go like give you some time to answer, and you send your answers, and then I'll try to highlight the players who got it right, guys. And please remember, everyone will get one attempt. So I will check only one attempt, not like many, because if you send me once and then after 10 seconds twice, it's already disappeared, right? Because like in the middle there were 5 players who responded as well. So one attempt, so-called game mode. So this is what I do with my students. Game mode, that means imagine you play the game and the touch move, right? Like you have only one attempt. I know it's hard during the class because you're like, oh, well, I can do whatever I want, right? It's I'm not losing rating here, guys. I wanted to start first of all with one of my, let's say, my example. So this is the game that I played in 2015. Yeah, I basically I don't think like, but I think like my latest chess tournament was in 2017. Yeah, 2017. So it's like a pretty recent game for me, although it's already 6 years, right? So guys, but this is interesting. Like I played against the kid. I mean, he was a teenager who was considered to be like pretty talented, like in the US. Now I don't know what happened with him. He disappeared, kind of like, you know, there was basically they worked together like a couple, Jeffrey Jong and his friend Liru Feng. They actually were coached by one coach, my good friend from Texas, and now Jeffrey Jong 2700, and his friend probably is not playing chess. I think he got to 2550, maybe got GM title, of course, but seems like he gave up on chess. I don't know, maybe something happened during the pandemic. Maybe he will resume after the pandemic. Well, in general, here it's like in Texas, it's everything is open for a while, you know, it's so he could play. So I don't see him in the tournaments, like I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I'm playing against him. and he went for the scotch. He went for the scotch, right? It's just like regular scotch. And guys, I played this move, bishop c5. So maybe you know there are like two options. One option is to go knight f6, which I always felt it's like very, very chaotic lines. So always my preference was, 1 second. So something is happening here. Oh, guys, something is. Oh, I'm sorry. So I need a little bit to change here settings. 1 second. Yeah, it's within my chat box. Guys, give me like 10 seconds. I'm changing here a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm good. Although, yeah, the chessboard is not good now. Yeah, guys, sorry about all the technical issues today. It's a little bit, yeah. It's no our regular moderator and some delay and this like okay guys, so knight f6 is a regular move. Bishop c5 is the move that I used to play, not without like suffering for a while, but yeah, also like eventually I think I worked pretty good on this variation, and I had a good results. So yeah, there are like a few. We are not talking about theory, right, guys? There are like 3 major moves here for white. I always felt that this is like, well, that was a nightmare at some point for me. So this is kind of critical. There is knight c6 and bishop e3. Everyone knows, by the way, I think like a month ago, there was a seminar on modern chess where I was about scotch for white. So there were some like new ideas. Actually, I suggested one relatively new stuff. Yeah, guys. Okay, so the good point. So like knight f5 is the move and can be tricky if you don't know the theory. If you know the theory, d5, black takes over. So you just check the theory, right? Like guys, knight g7, king f8. I remember it's very well. Knight h5, queen h4, fantastic move. Knight g3, knight f6. Guys, development advantage, right? So is somebody mentioned this, and like I thought, okay, great opportunity to mention this line. Bishop g4, rook e8, fantastic position for black. Now knight b3, I always felt like this is the most interesting. I know that some of my students who played this line for white, I actually recommended this variation. Now I came with this idea because you know during this camp I was supposed to provide some interesting idea for white, what is playable, and recently, instead of playing knight c3, queen e2, guys. If someone is interested in scotch, and maybe you can check like queen e2, some new games here. There are some nuances. We are not going to the theory, but there is this move, right? Now, guys, what is happening? Knight c3, of course, like normal, right? Knight c3, knight f6, queen e2, guys. And here, just like you know, it's like a little bit off topic, but just talking about this position, it was like a very, very rough start for me in this line where I scored. I think I was fortunate to get 1 draw out of 3 games, all of them against very strong GMs. But what was happening, I mean, they kind of like, I was probably not too prepared very well, and I was, you know, getting into very bad positions out of the opening, even though like I was following some like, you know, recent games of Grandmasters and stuff like that. And so it started like first I lost to Grandmaster Landa, I mean 2650, you know. Then I lost to Movsesyan 2700. So I changed, like I played a little bit different idea, was okay, but slightly passive, lost, and then got clearly worse against Benjamin Bok from the same tournament with Movsesyan, and like escaped somehow. You know, guys, the problem, yes, the problem was that it was all these tournaments. It's about like, I don't know, 15 years ago, and then it was very hard for computer was just, you know, playing d6, castle, bishop e6, and nothing is happening. But in fact, it's very passive positions. So you know, guys, so maybe I can pull one example really quick here and to show you like one of my games. I can pull like really quick to show you what I'm talking about. I know the board a little bit went away, but so coming back, yeah, coming back a little bit. Yeah. So guys, so here, like for instance, one of the games that I played, right? So it's actually the first one. So back then, it's not that I was not prepared. I was like prepared. I like this line was not very popular, and I played something like that, right? So, and usually it's f3 g4 plan, but the guy just played g3. Also, like nice setup. Bishop trade. Well, it's important for white not to take, right? Not to open a5. Yeah, and the problem is like, I mean, it's no space, guys. And he's like, he's just played common sense, and it's very unpleasant position. Knight d5 coming anytime, and at some point he just took over like rook e1. So that's appeared to be quite unpleasant position. So, guys, my point being, so I suffered with this kind of like pawn structure scenario, and then finally I kind of like analyzed it deeper and developed this line. I said, like, I need d5. I need quick d5 in one move. I cannot do d6, guys. And it's in general the strategy for this type of position. We need to challenge the center at some point. So it's either d5 or f5. But d5 immediately, that was back then kind of like a new idea. Yeah, guys, there is bishop g5. It's it's kind of like a crossroad. It's a second move here at this position, and I like always getting confused. Like, I think like my line after bishop g5 that I do h6, bishop h4. It's kind of like well-established theory, and I think I go like a5 here or knight d4. So those one of the moves, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's well-known theory. It's okay. It's okay for black. Just on knight d4 or first a5. I think like they both work actually. Yeah. So it's I also had the games in this direction with this knight bishop g5, because, well, it's very challenging what to do about the spin, right? But he played bishop e3. I mean, back then it was more popular. Nowadays, probably bishop g5 is a little bit more popular. So bishop e3, guys, and as I promised, so this is what I developed, d5 right away. I want d5, right? d5, queenside castle, and d4. Of course, guys, it's required like good preparation, right? It's required good preparation, because the point was that there are good chances to lose this pawn. So yeah, I think like I analyzed it's looked okay. It's looked okay here in this position, and so at least I had preparation. He didn't have preparation, so that's like it was kind of like decisive in this position. So, guys, when he faced this, I remember he failed into like deep thought, like started to think about, and came with the move knight b5. Guys, what do you think? What do you think? How you would respond? How you would respond here in this position? Oh, guys, today you are very serious. Like, usually 2 seconds you have a move, like already 5 players answer. not to 10 seconds, right? Today you think, like, that's good. Danush, you probably, like, guys, if you give So some players answering knight e4, which is natural, right? Interesting mail. I even interesting answer from Toda. Yeah, I don't know what's the name even because it's Gmail address, Gmail email like mentioned as a name. Guys, if you want me to mention your name, you need to change somehow to your name, not to your email address, right? Yeah. So okay, guys, we without too much delay. So we have one right answer. I don't know. I don't know what's the name of the player. Also, Julam or Julem. Yeah, I don't know how to spell correctly. Druva. Okay, Druva Tota. Okay. Julam, can you tell me how to spell your name correctly? Like how to pronounce? So guys, now first of all, it's a good position after knight e4. Actually, computer kind of like slightly prefers knight e4. So what's his idea? But guys, if you do knight e4, right? If you suggest knight e4, give me something like what to play here, right? Because like it's obviously he takes the pawn. It's obviously that he takes the pawn. And there is a very like when I check, guys, there is a very like special idea in this position. So when I analyze, I was obviously aware that there is X-ray here. Like, well, I have to move the queen. So okay, I can equalize probably just queen f6, whatever, right? But computer is just like, you know, without worrying about like any discoveries placed here. Why? Because we actually have a threat knight a2 followed by knight c3, right? And we win the queen, so no time for Geom. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. So guys, night before, it's still not very clear because he plays king b1 and then just cool-headed knight d5. Unbelievable. Knight d5, and once again we have a threat knight c3. So he will defend and we'll get the bishop. We'll get this bishop and enjoy some position with like open position with bishop pair and kind of like very good, better for black even, like I would say. And guys, a few players notice this idea, d3, rook d8, rook d8. So I think there was a couple of guys mentioned that very, very important detail that it's actually well, Shakodip, you are very, very right. So that I was about to mention this. Guys, first of all, it's important. Now, fe3 runs into bishop g4. And we are winning. We are winning. Why we are winning? Rook d1 is a threat. And we basically like, it's not that we play rook d1, we play bishop e3. Right? And the game is over. The game is over. So what does it mean? It means that he is forced to play f3. Now, guys, so here it's important moment. Yeah, I'm proud of this idea that I found on the board. Obviously, I didn't analyze knight b5, but technically it's a sacrifice. We are talking about sacrifice because we are like materially down in some sense. But guys, if you count this, right? If you count this, so there is like rook and bishop, right? But at the same time, bishop pair. And super powerful pawn on e3. So of course, if you like calculate, it's like queen. I don't know how many pawns you count queen. It's always like, I mean, some people like 9, 10, 8, like, but in general, we have rook 5, right? Like, so let's say we take queen 9 and bishop 3.25, right? Like 1, because it's 1 bishop. So 12.25. So then we take rook 5 pawns, right? Like bishop pair 7, 12. So what we are pawn, we are down 0.25 or what? Like, or maybe you count queen 10, like, but so what I want to say, my point, yes, like, I mean, maybe like we are pawn down in some sense, but we have very strong pawn on a3. And because like better piece coordination and initiative. Right, guys? So it's like, yeah, I'm like, well, I sacrifice queen, but in fact, it's not exactly a sacrifice, right? So actually, guys, my game went like I won a nice game. So what happened in my game? I played bishop e6 in this position. Bishop e6 was a good move. Like he played queen e1, trying to kind of like develop some kind of like coordination to open the bishop. So I know computer like just to take and get rook d2, and I think that computer actually already likes black position, right? And I played a5. I played a5 in this position, so it was very tempting idea. He played king b1, and then I took. So it's a little bit different, but maybe objectively, you know, guys, objectively, if you check from opening perspective, like immediately taken and then playing rook d2 is the best, and like played a4 here in this position. So there was a lot of pressure, and then he should have captured maybe knight f3, but played bishop c4 in this position, and like it was powerful initiative after rook d2, guys. Powerful initiative after rook d2. So now we don't have a bishop pair, right? But we have some other factors, guys. We have some other factors which are like, you know, initiative all over the board, like attack, rook on d2, pawn on e3 remains very, very strong always. So stuff like this, and much easier to play for black, of course, like because we have initiative, it's very pleasant, and the queen is very passive. And here already we have a player, Shahodib, who mentioned like why this game crossed my mind, because actually there was a very recent game which was played, guys, well, it's not recent, very recent, but I don't know, for me 2021 is still recent, like 1 year ago, 2021 January. But where I saw this game, in one chess source, I saw like a selection of top 10 games of 2021, and they published this game. I don't think it was published anywhere. I don't know, but nowadays it's hard to say. Maybe somebody like annotated this on the YouTube channel, whatever. But I personally didn't see this game before seeing it recently on one source. So it's Warmerdam. It's a Dutch grandmaster, I think, like young player grandmaster, I think, already, because he's already 2600. So he played against player 2236 Notch in 2021, and he faced in this position king b1 move. But by the way, theoretically, this is the critical and the best move for white, by the way. So he faced king b1. I think he probably was familiar with my game, like in some sense. So he played a5. Guys, I'm not saying that this is absolutely the best play from theoretical point of view. Like, for instance, my computer gives preference to bishop e6 a little bit in this position, but it was a similarity, right? Yes, it is. So guys, like, well, I'm surprised. So already two guys familiar with this game. Like, that's like, I didn't know this game before I noticed this a month ago, something like that, guys. And once again, the same idea, right? Once again, the same idea, the same position, like more or less. I started with bishop e6. He started with a5, right? And yeah, so what happened here? Again, I mean, guys, like technically we sacrificed. In fact, from material point of view, not much, right? Not much. About one pawn to like 0.25 as we counted, right? Like pawn value. Now it's actually, I want to say that the quality was actually, I think, like the quality was a little bit strange here. So some missed opportunities. So he actually rook d8, f3. Yeah, he played bishop e6, knight c1. So here probably, guys, as we already know, I don't know why he didn't play rook d2, like followed by knight b4, something like that's advantage. It's bigger advantage. He played knight d7, but guys, you'll see the similarity here, which computer is not excited about this move. Not excited. Queen e1, knight e5. But I wanted to show you like one interesting point here. Bishop e2, knight c4. So he brings the knight, kind of like there is a logic, but you know, you check with computer, always like there are some improvements. Capture, knight c3. By the way, about equal this position. About equal, objectively speaking. Well, you know, we shouldn't underestimate the queen, right? It's right now very passive, but happens. So he played, very interesting what he did. He played rook d2. And I don't know, did he missed, not missed, but there was 91, guys. What do you think we should do here after 91? What do you think, guys? What bishop e2? Knight on c1. Guys, do not blunder. So what's the point to answer in 10 seconds and blunder the piece? Reshap. Guys, but please give me the line. Like, well, you suggest rook d8. What after 93? Like, there is no opportunity to give you, like, even if it's a right answer, right? Like, you need to give the line. Reshap, line, right? You know what next move. It's not difficult. Suresh, what does it mean? Ah. No, guys, I mean, have you noticed, like, maybe you don't see, but I'm attacking the pawn. I want to take the pawn. So any move you analyze, like, you know, like so far you mentioned. Interesting. Shahudi, but I mean, I'm not gonna take like that. Sorry. Yeah, that's a funny line. Suresh, you probably meant to say that you first insert taking on the free, then, because how you take knight will protect, no? Reshap, again, blunder the bishop. I have knight on c1. Yeah, okay. Oh, no, but this is too much. Shahadip, this is too much. Guys, that's the first time that nobody answered right. Yeah, a lot of different answers, but nobody answered right. No one answered correct. Guys, what are you doing? Like e2, queen d2, rook d8. Like you cannot sacrifice so much. Knight d3. Like we already sacrificed. Like what is this? e2, like full rook. Come on. Guys, so what is interesting? If we are talking, like, for instance, this line, logical, right? Like I think like 2 players, like 2, 3 mentioned this line. Guys, you would be surprised, but this kind of transformation, very bad for us. It's just unbelievably bad. You check, like, once you get PGN file, you can check the computer, you will be shocked. Now, what happened? Like, first of all, we lost our, like, important pawn, pass pawn on e3, right? Like, terrific pawn. Secondly, we lost also the bishop pair. This is so important. This position, if, like, you know, normally we play it maybe about equal, maybe some, like, you put the computer and like it's sometimes like better for black, sometimes equal. This one totally lost. You cannot imagine. It's like minus 3.5 according to Stockfish 13, maybe 14 even more. So just like, so we lost everything, right? Like material wise, it's just straight. right? We just traded. He got the pawn, we got the pawn, but additional factors. Like we need initiative. And now also no coordination. Guys, no coordination whatsoever. So there is this threat queen c3, right? Like you also have to take. So also like our active rook is done. Absolutely lost. I mean, a little bit exaggerate, but like 3.5, it's insane evaluation, but it's lost. Like winning advantage. Guys. Now, so it's important to keep bishop m. It's important to keep the pawn. How we keep the pawn? There is only one way. Much more important to keep the pawn and bishop pair. Yes, so full compensation. You check the computer says it's equal. But of course, much easier to play for black. Now what was remarkable here, that in this position, he played, I mean, it's not so difficult. It's not so difficult, but it's remarkable that it's such a good position for black that we can afford move h6. He played in the game absolutely top choice of computer. Oh, computer is not sure h6 or h5, but you know, h5 is insane, like white, right? h6. What's the idea, guys? So the idea basically that we preparing some kind of like attack of knight b4 on knight e5. And if we do it the right way, there is a background, guys. There is a background, right? So that's his point. So it's such a good compensation that we can even afford h6, unbelievable, right? And then it was remarkable how the game developed. Like I was a little bit shocked, and that's why it was selected like one of the best games. So here, by the way, it seems like he could have forced draw by taking rook d3. So that would be perpetual. Like this knight, I thought like knight d4, not b4, knight d4. I think b3. Yeah, if you play b3, guys, then something like, you know, knight e2 and bishop d4, and we just like fully dominate. So you see, guys, what happens? We have good pieces and we target the king. And now, like, queen is not exactly like can help if with everything, right? Yeah, he can, but with queen c3, it's probably perpetual. So I think it's only move queen c3. No, not only move, like not only move, but it's perpetual. Knight b4, right? King c1, knight a2 cannot go, so has to repeat, and so it's equal, right? Now he probably saw this, like, well, it's Grandmaster. He definitely saw this. He said, like, no, I want to play. It was crazy. Like, I'm not sure, like, I would go. He just said, like, no, I want to play for win. Because the problem is, guys, we need more pieces, right? Usually as many pieces as possible. Why? Because it limits the queen. Like, we control more squares, right? Now we have, like, not only we have that, like, only bishop pair, but he also traded rooks. Guys, it's unbelievable. He traded rooks, but we know, like, this pawn. Basically, what happened? He played e2, queen e1, and it was very important move in this position. Very, very. Bishop e3. Activate the bishop. Guys, I don't know about this position. Like, when you start analyzing this, like in the beginning, computer says white is better. When it drops all the way down to equality, because he starts realizing that the queen is not moving. But I can tell you guys, if you check this game, like black slowly won. Look, I'm not interested, like, to check whether, like, you know, white could survive here. Like, I'm not sure, but this position out of risk, in fact, you know, you cannot move, like, normally the queen, right? Normally. So that means you move the queen, it's immediately bishop d2. On the other hand, can we win? Can we pull something here? Like, that means, what's the plan? It's like to arrange some pass pawn, extra pass pawn, because, you know, we come with the king, we activate the king too far, he can start with checks. So we have to be careful, right? He somehow won, very, like, I don't know, objective, like, it doesn't matter here, right? But we'll move to the next example, guys. I want to move to the next example. So I think it's fascinating, but the next one was really fantastic, something that I would seriously consider for the game of the year, guys. And I'm not sure you are familiar with this game. No, you cannot, Rishabh. Queen b4, I play bishop f2. The only, like, the right away, like, once you leave e1, it's either bishop d2, f2. That means you cannot leave e1 square. Queen h4, well, you have check there. Well, I mean, I can play g5, you know. No, it's not Dubov Karyakin, guys. That's the point. Of course, everyone knows Dubov Karyakin. So, no, it's another game. It's the game which has been played in this tournament in November. Was fantastic tournament with high quality fighting chess in Riga, Latvia, where Firuja won and Corona was second. So this is interesting. This is the line of my childhood. Like, I played a lot h3 bishop g5. Of course, everyone knows that there is h3 knight f3, and now very popular bishop e3 as well, right? But guys, it's bishop g5 is quite tricky. Not my recommendation to play this. Now, so there is a Russian grandmaster, Pretke. So another Russian grandmaster, like, I think, like, during this game he was what his rating, 2666, funny rating, and he's playing against Abdusaratov, the guy who won Rapid Championship, and they played pretty high. So it's you know, very good players, guys. And I don't think this is round one. I think, like, it's in the middle somewhere. So guys, it's usually like, you know, in this position, black, from my experience, black plays c5 or knight a6 or knight d7. Not like important not to play h6, but there was this new idea. What was funny, that my good friend from Russian grandmaster, like, I'm not going to reveal his name, my good friend who has been working very seriously in the openings with top players, he actually mentioned this idea to me, what black did in this game, maybe a month ago in a telephone conversation. It was, so knight c6 kind of like looks strange a little bit, right? But it's actually thematic. So, like, Rishabh is mentioning d5, but that's kind of like the idea. He goes knight e5, or even maybe knight b8, and then you start undermining, like c6, e6. So there is this point. I don't know, like, about exactly evaluation again. Like, I wouldn't be, if I play h3 bishop g5, I wouldn't be worried about knight c6 as well, like, you know, especially after this game. So he played knight f3, and there is a very, very concrete play here, h6. Bishop always belongs to e3, e5, e5. So guys, like, it's at first glance, like, what's going on? Because, you know, knight e7, it's pretty bad. Now, knight e7 will play g4, it's a bad position. Like, knight should be on c5. Knight d4. Knight d4, e d4. Guys, what you can tell me, what do you think? What's the idea here in this position after bishop d4? So, you know, it's kind of like, in some sense, it's a thematic sacrifice. So guys, who can tell me, like, I want to see knight e4, bishop g7. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's actually, yeah. So first of all, yeah, guys. So first line, knight e4. What happens after bishop g7? Knight e4, bishop g7. Rook e8. Correct. Important. Now, guys, now second line, knight e4, knight e4. Let's put this variation. Who can give me the line here? Line. Full line, not one move. How you calculate in the game? Suresh, full line. Black to play, yes. Okay, Suresh, moving forward. Bishop g2 at the end of your line. Correct, correct, very good. So guys, what is the problem in this position? The problem in this position that if you play like what usually played, like usually they sacrifice the follow-up is rook e8. The problem here, I can do f3. Now somebody mentioned queen h4. I have bishop f2 back. f5. I take bishop g7. Yeah, correct, Julian. Yes. King g7. I give check. Then you'll take the knight, but you will be pawn down and open king. And then I like I don't know, bishop d3, for instance. So I win the pawn, queenside castle, or kingside castle. So for sure, material down, right? That's the problem. This is not working. Now, guys, the whole point is that Suresh actually followed up with this line. That's a big time move, queen h4. So we are not premium. So that's what is surprising. I mean, usually it's a yes, you also, but correct. Akash, okay. Guys, maybe you can just make sure next time you put the names, right? Like, queen h4. Now it's a little bit unusual because usually this knight e4 shot comes with rook e8 follow-up, but here it's like queen h4. And then, but the line is not over. G4 and rook e8 and bishop g2. And by the way, very, very important here, because if we go for a f5 idea, once again, I'll just castle queenside and that's it. Guys, and Akash found everything. Unbelievable. Unbelievable move, bishop f5. No f3, so we're about to take on e4, and this is even losing. This one is even losing because if you take, the rook is hanging or here is hanging. So that's a terrific line, guys. I know I went very quick. You are underrated. That's the strongest unrated that I have ever seen, guys. I know I was quick. Some players asking me like, oh, what about gf5? You will get PGN. You'll check again, right? We need to go like forward. So what is happening here, guys? So that we know that bishop d4, and this is the idea that mentioned by my friend, and he said, oh, well, are you familiar with this idea? It's like there is bishop d4, knight e4, and I'm like, oh, well, how it's working? Like rook e8, I realized like rook e8 is not good. He says, oh, well, there is queen h4 and bishop f5, and he told me over the phone. And guys, in this position, and indeed, I mean, he just knew the theory. But the point is like queen d4. The move is queen d4. That was played in this game. Now, it's not a novelty. There was one game before. Now, guys, what do you think? What we do here? So what's the name of the player who is like mentioned AG4? Rabin, Mapal? Guys, so here are the novelty comes. But okay, I know we are under some time pressure, right? So before there was a game where I mean, it's actually pretty 2400 player played 22. Guys, but this is fantastic compensation. This is fantastic compensation for black. Actually, black won the game, like dark square bishop, terrific. So this is very common in King's Indian, like f5 was played, so black won the game. I mean, I think it's fantastic position for black, right? Now, like everyone, like obviously we have this hint like about like queen sacrifice, guys, but many of you, like I would say probably 60-70%, those who suggested sacrifice started with this. But this is much worse. This is much worse version because I can do rook h8. Guys, it's called comparison when you calculate the lines, how to understand, because guys, in this position, so this is how he played, and AG4 is not, this is how he went for this. So now there is no convenient way. There is no convenient way to defend H6. What I mean by convenient way, I mean Rook H8 or G5. You have to play King H7. This is a huge deal, right? And there is also the problem here that if Queen G5 would be maybe a nice active move, but I just play Bishop E2, and the threat is Bishop E3, and you cannot even take on G4. So, and then Bishop E3, probably pawn on H6 gone. So, guys, King H7, yeah, King H7. So, what we got? What we got? What type of compensation? So, there is one pawn and bishop pair. And Yash, and then at the end G5. Yes, guys. So there are a lot of factors here. It's you know, bishop pair. Like material-wise, not enough. It's not like previous game. Like we cannot say, well, it's almost equal, right? So we have bishop pair, one pawn, but there are additional factors. Activity of the pieces, vulnerable king, dark squares, better coordination. You know. So this is added. Guys, in fact, if you check with computer already gives very big advantage to white. So it's not that computer does not understand this position. It's something that it's very kind of like obvious for computer, not for the human beings. Not surprising that there have been a lot of games after 94. After 94, there were like 10 games, and there were like a couple of GMs played. Like basically like 2-3 players over 2500, 2400. Nobody played this idea. Nobody played this idea. Now, guys, Rishabh, we are not using raise hand feature here because I have no time to react. Only the chat, right? And what is interesting, guys, it's positional play in some sense, right? So it's not that we are like, oh, well, we just bishop E3 now and like H6 is funny. Not really. We don't need this. Like actually bishop E3, I think he takes on G4 or something. Bishop E2. So G4 was hanging, just bishop E2. So it's also like in some sense positional domination here, right? Bishop E2. Now what he played. Understandably. So computer like tries to defend. He plays some move rook G8, like, you know, or maybe C5. So that definitely better choices. But it's understandable. Like, I don't know. I feel it's understandable, like move F5, but it's got only worse after this. F6. Yeah, well, our idea, guys, is just strategical, a queenside castle following by doubling on the h5. What he can do about this, right? Or bishop e3 anytime. So he played f5. Guys, what type of pawn structure we should go here? What do you think? So I need something precise here. What do you feel? Okay. Danush, what is GH4? I don't understand. What GH4? What is that? Like, I don't understand. GF5. Mm-hmm. Yes, Akash. Guys, a lot of answers, and I think Akash was right. Like, guys, we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't do this. I mean, he gets another pawn, and then he can get h5. That's the issue. So he kind of like solves the problem. Now, guys, g5, queenside castle actually was a very popular answer. Julam also mentioned this queenside logic. So kind of like feels that many players, but also good position for white, some advantage, but not as much as after this. Like, guys, this is something crazy terrific. So this is super powerful. Now, Rishabh, where it's the double pawns, it's irrelevant in this position. There are like major factors that are much more important here. Rook h5, so also getting control over g5, doubling. Guys, there is no fg, obviously, like another idea that this square under control, so you cannot take, and then rook h6, and I'm mating you, right? So this rook h5 is just fantastic, and at the same time, I prepare doubling, right? And guys, in general, I want to say, like, really quick, king g6 was played, so this position is already lost. Computer says it's +3. It's not obvious for us. It's not obvious for us. No, Shahodip, it's not good because, you know, even when you take on h6, you don't really want to take the rook. You would rather keep bishop f. So king g6 was played. Now we don't need queenside castle. Guys, pay attention what happened. So already pawn gone on h6. Now this position. Like, you know, guys, when I see, yeah, it's unbelievable, July. So this point, this position, like, you know, you check this position, it looks like it's like very interesting for white, possibly attack. Computer, like, well, everything is winning here, and he won the game, but no, he actually started with this move. This move. So I'm talking about this position. This move is great. King e7 was played, and now he went for kind of like Russian style maneuver here, like knight d1, knight e3. Actually, like the advantage kind of dropped, but still was like big advantage, and he won eventually. Instead, I was wondering, guys, if it's possible to find this kind of solution. So that's the most winning move here, guys. Bishop d3, eliminate the defender, and now we need. So the point is, what we want. We want rook h7, and once you go rook h8, and potentially get the queen, guys. It's also like you see the example here. What happens with the queen? Where is the queen? Like, queen is passive, right? So that's also an important factor. It's one idea. The queen is somewhere like active, attacking our pieces, attacking our king. But like both games that we witnessed, like, queen is very passive. So that's one of the most important factors. Also, we have tremendous cooperation. So this is game over. Like, he cannot stop rook h7, rook h8 idea. It's unbelievable. Let's say he goes here, right? Wants to escape. I'm not talking about knight b5. It's probably winning, but we just primitively go like this, and so just we get the queen, and then take and rook h8, and then we will be two pieces like up, right? Like two pieces for the rook and the pawn, like absolutely winning. So that's how, like, you know, it's. Once you see with computer, everything becomes like very easy, like, oh, well, of course, computer recommends, but from human point of view, it's always difficult, you know, to sacrifice like that, especially the queen. But guys, just to open your, like, you know, it's so-called thinking outside the box. Thinking outside the box, so that you start considering this. And I'll be honest with you guys, probably in most of the cases, it's not working. But if you find a couple of ideas when it's working, couple of games, so maybe you'll go for some interesting ideas. Like, for instance, even like a few days ago, I saw the game. It was actually a good game. There was some tournament in Brazil, I think. Well, so I'll address this, what you said, Todor Ruva, right? So but by the way, I mentioned the thinking outside the box, but there is a Jacob Aggard book, Thinking Inside the Box. I haven't read this book, but I don't know why he gave this name, Thinking Inside the Box. So it's like, you know, it's an unusual phrase because we always use like thinking outside the box, right? To play some, you know, improvisation, like interest in fantasy and stuff like this. So thinking outside the box, right? His book called Inside the Box, Thinking Inside the Box. Now, guys, so what I was about to say, oh yeah, there was a tournament in Brazil. Like if you like, they still probably play, and there was some game. I just noticed it was just absolutely normal. You know, the guy sacrificed queen, but it was not even a sacrifice because it was like rook, bishop pair, and pawn. And I checked the computer evaluation. It's like big advantage for white. He didn't win. Grandmaster, by the way, he didn't win because like there was some terrific defense from black. But in general, like happens a lot nowadays. So sometimes, like talking about material, but there are sometimes like major factors what we have seen in this game. Guys, let's do a couple of questions, right? Please post them in Q&A. I don't know if we have time, Pratik.
Yeah, we have time. Yeah, the stage. If you can stop the screen share, Boris. Yeah, just for a second.
Stop what?
Screen share.
Stop screen share. But
yeah,
how am I gonna see the questions?
Yeah, in the Q&A, I will ask the question.
Okay.
Okay.
No, so stop the share, right?
Yeah, just stop the share. So Boris, I was getting a lot of question in different social media platform and WhatsApp after your last session. Just give me 1 second. Let me stop on. Okay, stop share. So one common question was like, you give a lot of online lessons in different platforms, including nurtr, and most of live lessons are group lessons. But how important is a one-on-one lesson? So a lot of parents keep on asking, can my child become a GM without taking one-on-one lesson from a coach?
Oh, well, they're very hard. I think it's very hard. Although it seems like in India everything is possible. No, but even those like your prodigies, I mean, it's always I closely follow the webpage Chess India. Whether we take Prague, Gukesh, I mean, they all had like one-on-one, like very hard to believe.
Yeah.
But who knows? Nowadays everything is possible. Maybe like, I don't know, maybe the like parents, somebody kind of like understands how to study chess.
So that is the reason that is the reason why we also started giving one-on-one lesson like almost 2 years ago. And we have more than 150 trainers right now who give one-on-one lessons. Because we realized that while giving group lesson is okay, structured one-on-one training is very important for someone who actually wants to go deep into chess, because then as a coach, you can actually identify problem real time. So guys, if Boris is one of the best in the business in the world right now, but if you still want to take one-on-one lesson, you can reach out to us, and you never know, we may have some slots in future. So like Boris suggests, that one-on-one training is very important. So you need to have a one-on-one coach if you are really into professional chess. And I guess,
guys, I also wanted to mention, like, even I know there could be some like finance issues or something like that, but even sometimes it makes sense. Like, for instance, I used to have this, like I still do it sometimes. It's called evaluation class. So like, yeah, well, there is a coach, famous coach. He's like a little bit expensive, but you go, like, you take this lesson and you ask him, I want you to evaluate my games, like find weaknesses and, like, you know, strong and my weak points, and give me some suggestion how to work. That will make, even like one lesson like this will make a huge difference to compare that you do by yourself, something that you feel is correct. But you will get the opinion of professional.
So that is why for everyone who writes to us for one-on-one lesson, As of now, like what we do is we charge just $80, and we get a 1 hour session with a very highly rated coach, an online test where we actually judge them on 365-degree. So, guys, all of you who are attending the class today, so there's an offer. You get flat 50% off if you want to get analyzed yourself. And just like Boris said, so just write to us at support@nurtr.com. We'll supply you a coupon code where you can get yourself assessed with a top rated coach, and a 365-degree custom plan will be created especially for you. Just get yourself assessed where you actually lie. It's very important, I guess, to assess yourself right now. So, Boris, thanks for this wonderful insight, and thanks for enlightening the parents, because at times it's always better listening from the horse's mouth.
Okay, guys. So sorry, like I know you sent me a lot of questions here, but time is expired. Like, so there are like
schedule. Yeah, we'll see you next week, anyways. We'll see you next week, anyways.
Yes, appreciate it.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you, Boris. Thank you.